two forces, I think, that constantly circle each other, and then at one point they become a magnetic field that attracts them fully to one another. And I think global discontent, which was and is severe, was on the hunt for articulations that could help describe some key to relief from the traditional behavior as designed in oppressive conditions. Dr. King, interestingly enough, didn't even want the job. He was in a community that was as removed from rebellion, not oppression, removed from rebellion as any community could be. He had the tiniest church in Alabama, and for some reason unknown to anybody, the fact that this community erupted in a moment of defiance on a very tiny issue, which was, I don't want to ride in the back of the bus anymore. It's the law. Black people sit in the back. I can't. I'm just too tired. I've been doing it too long. I'm taking a seat wherever I find one. Well, I'm quite sure that Lenin and others who are the great revolutionary thinkers who design all these ways in which to find open space to make a move would never have thought of a black woman's feet hurting in Alabama as a place in which this thing could erupt the way in which it did. Nor could anyone have suspected that in a moment of desperation they called him on a black minister who didn't even want to come to the meeting. He didn't. They persisted in asking him to come because they needed his church. Not even him so much. They needed his church and his environment. And when he yielded, he said, I will come to the meeting. And when he went, he had an epiphany. He had a moment. And that's when those forces come together. The epiphany in a human being least expected to come together at a time when human struggle was so intense, Africa everywhere. The game was on. He had to answer questions every day of his emergence because they're questions for which he had no answer. But as he looked for solution, his vision and the counsel among those who were part of the experiment in freedom found a way to get resolved. I'm not too sure that history isn't replete with such incidents. You study Christ, you study Gandhi, you study all of these people who applied a certain kind of nonviolent concept to social mission. They have a lot in common. It is interesting that Christ was a Jew, and as a matter of fact, his behavior had nothing, was not rooted in the liberation of Jewishness. This was looking for the liberation of all people. And so it was Dr. King. So was Gandhi. And what you ask about can only be understood in the nuances in terms of the will of the individual and how do these coincidences come together. Now, there are much simpler examples in the vast arena of people who rose up in the banner of that moment to become committed to the cause and become rebels and do things that we all do. And I think if that's going to be your dissertation, you're on a great road here. I'm not too sure where you will go for all the answers you may be researching and looking for.
I'm studying now.
Huh?
I'm studying now.
Oh, yes. Well, drop us a line and make that part of my mission to find some answers for some. There's a guy by the name of Cornel West. He's a liberation theologist. He comes from Princeton University. And his analysis of Dr. King in that time is of huge importance to many of us who are looking for the best interpretations of what happened to us at the time he did it. And I think that Cornel West will welcome the opportunity to have an exchange with you and students of his who are part of the School of Theology, Liberation Theology at Princeton.